notice that you are there for everyone else, but when it comes to you, you are your own biggest critic? Somewhere along the way, many of us learned how to love others and support others, but not ourselves. And that's why today we are talking about self-love. Because honestly, I have never heard a real glow-up story that didn't start by learning how to love yourself first. This video is divided into 3 sections. First, we'll know what self-love actually is and why does it even matter. Then we'll clear all the misconceptions about self-love and the mistakes that I have made on my journey. And finally, I'll share some practical and real steps that you can implement in your daily life to practice self-love. So grab a cup of a hot tea or matcha and let's get into it. So let's first talk about what self-love actually is. Self-love is the relationship you have with your own self. It's how you talk to your own self. It's how you support yourself. It's how you show up for yourself. It's how you talk to your own self, especially when life gets difficult. Because the truth is, life is not going to be easy. It's not going to be the way you planned it. There will be seasons of confusion, mistakes, disappointments, and starting over. And the only constant you have throughout all this is you. Self-love means choosing yourself, even on days when you feel like you're falling short. It's liking yourself throughout all the mistakes, the setbacks, the failures, the disappointment, not just when things are going well. Because it's easy to love yourself when you're winning. The real test is how you treat yourself when you're not. It's trusting yourself enough to believe that no matter what happens, you're always going to be there for yourself. You won't give up on yourself. That even if you lose your way, you will find your way back. Self-love looks like holding your own hand while you figure things out. Not constantly criticizing yourself for not having everything figured out already. And this is something many of us struggle with because we have been taught to be our own biggest critic. We pressure ourselves to do more, be more, achieve more. And when we can't keep up with everything, we turn against ourselves. And this is where self-love comes in. Because self-love shifts the whole relationship you have with yourself. Instead of becoming your own biggest critic, you become your own safe space. And this is exactly why self-love is so important. Because when your relationship with yourself is strong, life becomes more stable. You're not constantly shaken by external validation, people's comments, or any temporary outcomes. Because you have an inner sense of safety. You stop abandoning yourself just because something didn't work out. You stop measuring your worth by how productive you were today. You stop believing that one mistake defines who you are. A big part of self-love is how you talk to yourself. I heard someone say, talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you deeply love. And I want you to really think about this for a moment. If someone you loved failed, would you scold them, criticize them, dishonor their expectations? No. Or you would sit beside them, comfort them, support them, and help them through the difficulties they have in their life. Most of us naturally offer kindness. When it comes to ourselves, the kindness disappears. And it is replaced by judgment. Self-love is choosing to extend the same compassion inward. It's learning to replace harshness with understanding, criticism with patience, and pressure with support. At its core, self-love is truly a space you create for your own self. It's a safe space you return to when you have difficulties in your life. A place you can return to after difficult battles, after difficult days, emotional setback, and feel warmth instead of judgment. A place where you don't have to pretend. A place where you are human. Because when you become a safe space for yourself, something amazing happens. You stop constantly searching for validation outside just to feel okay. You stop needing everyone else to approve of you. Instead, you begin to stand on something really stronger, that is self-trust. And once you start trusting yourself that you are there for you, life stops feeling so quite scary. Self-love doesn't mean life is going to be perfect. It means you stop being at war with your own self while living it. Now that we know what self-love actually is and why it is so important, let's talk about all the misconceptions and what it is mistaken for. Because sometimes the biggest barrier in self-love isn't the lack of effort, it's understanding what it actually looks like. And I want to share some of the mistakes that I made in my journey of self-love. Because chances are you might just see yourself in it. Not so you can judge yourself, but you can be more aware. Mistake number 1, looking for self-love outside of myself. For the longest time, I believed feeling good about myself would come from external things like validation, people choosing me, appreciation, people approving of. And when that validation was there, I felt confident. But when it disappeared, so did my sense of worth. It was exhausting because it meant that my relationship with myself was in someone else's hand. What I slowly realized is this: external validation can complement your self-worth, but it cannot create it. The shift happened when I stopped asking, do they see my value? and started asking, do I see it? That's where self-love begins internally. Mistake number 2. Thinking self-love meant always choosing comfort. At one point, I confused self-love with being easy on myself all the time. If something felt uncomfortable, I just thought it wasn't aligned with myself. Here's what I learned. Self-love is not always soft. Sometimes it's waking up when you don't feel like it, having hard conversation, choosing growth over comfort. Now I try to ask myself, is this helping me grow or is it just making me feel comfortable? Because real self-love supports the person you are becoming, not just the person you are today. Mistake number 3, treating self-love like a destination. I used to think that one day I will reach at a point where I love myself fully and everything will be perfect and easy for me. But self-love doesn't work like that. Some days you will feel grounded. Some days old insecurities resurface. Some days you question yourself, and that does not mean you must have failed. It means you are human. Self-love is not a finish line. It's a relationship. Like any relationship needs nurture, care, loving and attention. Mistake number 4, comparing my journey. This one is very common. There were moments when I looked at others and I felt, how are they so confident? They feel so healed. Why am I not there yet? But the comparison only disconnects with you from your own path, because self-love is deeply personal. Your healing, your growth, your pace. None of it is supposed to look like someone else's. This shift for me was understanding that you don't fall behind in your own life. You move at a pace you are ready for. Mistake number 5, not aligning my choices with my own well-being. One of the biggest realizations in this whole journey I had was you cannot say you love yourself while choosing things that are draining you. There were times when I said yes to plans when I wanted to say no. Stayed in situations longer than I actually should have. Ignored my mental and emotional needs. And slowly I learned that self-love is not a feeling, it's a decision. Now before making certain choices, I step back and ask myself, does this align with the goals I have in my life? Does this support my mental peace? Is this nourishing me or draining me? And sometimes self-love looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks choosing differently. Alignment is self-respect in action. Without it, self-love remains an idea and not a lifestyle. This brings us into our next section, in which I will tell you about all the practices you can do, because understanding self-love is important, but it only begins to show in your life when you start taking action on a daily basis. So here are some simple, realistic, basic ways in which you can start practicing self-love. Practice number 1, become aware of how you speak to yourself. Most of us don't even realize how harsh we are to ourselves because that voice becomes so normal. Start noticing the moments when you criticize yourself. Catch the moments and try to correct it. For example, if you look in the mirror and find yourself thinking, I've gained weight, my body does not look like my goal weight, pause. Instead of attacking your body, shift your perspective. Remind yourself what your body goes through, what your body does for yourself every single day. It carries you through life. It allows you to move, experience, hug the people you love, laugh, grow together, and grow stronger. Your body is not something for you to judge, it supports your whole existence. And when you start looking at yourself with gratitude instead of criticism, your relationship with yourself begins to soften. Now this does not mean you love everything about yourself overnight. But self-love begins by showing yourself a little more kindness than yesterday. Your inner voice becomes an environment you live in. Make it a kinder place to be. Practice number 2, spend intentional time with yourself. And I don't mean planning elaborate solo dates or doing something completely that feels intimidating. Spend just 2 minutes with yourself, without phone, without music, without distractions, without any external stimulation. Just you. At first, it might feel a little uncomfortable. You might feel restless. You want to reach out to your phone. You might not know what to do with the silence, and that's okay. Because many of us are so used to the constant noise around us that we feel completely unfamiliar with the silence. But slowly something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to enjoy your own presence. You stop needing distraction all the time. You start listening to yourself more, understanding yourself more. And when you start enjoying your own company, you stop chasing everywhere else. Practice number 3, keep the small promises you make yourself. We often show up for others but cancel on ourselves. We postpone what we said we would do, ignore our needs, break commitments that we made to our own well-being. And without realizing it, we damage our self-trust. But self-love is deeply connected to trusting yourself. Every time you keep a promise, it sends a message to your brain. I matter. My time matters. My well-being matters. Start small. If you tell yourself you will go for a walk, go. If you promise yourself that you will sleep earlier, honor it. If you decide to take a break, allow yourself that rest without guilt. You don't need dramatic changes because self-love is not built through intensity. It is built through consistency, through showing yourself again and again that you are someone you can rely on. The way you show up for yourself quietly teaches you what you actually deserve. You don't have to do all this all at once. Start with one, let it come natural to you. Because self-love is not about becoming a whole different person. It's about learning to treat yourself with the care that you have always deserved. Because at the end of the day, self-love is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming someone who does not abandon themselves. Life is going to have difficult moments. There will be days when you doubt yourself and days when you feel you are falling behind. But self-love is the quiet decision that no matter what happens, you are there on your own side. You will speak to yourself with kindness. You will support yourself through the hard season. You will keep choosing yourself again and again. And if there's one thing I would like you to take from this video, it's this. You don't have to have everything figured out to start loving yourself. You just have to stop being at war with who you already are. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. If you have stayed till the end, please drop a pink heart in the comments, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.